Hello and welcome to another episode of Microsoft Fabric. And in today's video, we are going to discuss the licensing costs for Microsoft Fabric. We will try to understand what are the various components you need to buy to get Microsoft Fabric up and running in your organization. Microsoft Fabric components has to be purchased from Azure. These are the key components you need to purchase from Azure to run Microsoft Fabric in your organization. Capacities are ranging from F2 to F2048. You need at least one capacity to start Microsoft Fabric. Unlike Power BI, where you can start with a Pro or PPU license, you don't require a capacity. In case of Microsoft Fabric, capacity is must. You can use more than one capacity. Capacities can be allocated at the workspace level, and if you have more than one capacity, you can choose different capacities on different workspaces. Storage, you have to purchase 1 lake storage that you can again buy from Azure. Data transfer rates as apply. We will have a look at what are the different kind of data transfer costs we have. This is also very similar to most of your Azure services where you have to pay the data transfer cost whenever applicable. Other costs, if you're buying some other Azure services along with Microsoft Fabric or third-party services, you have to pay additional cost. First of all, let me jump onto an article which explains you few key terms about Microsoft Fabric. So I'm interested in what is a tenant in Microsoft Fabric. Microsoft Fabric is deployed to a Microsoft Entra tenant. Each tenant is tied to specific domain names, DNS, and other domain can be added to the tenant. If you don't already have Microsoft Entra tenant, you can either add your domain to an existing tenant or a tenant created for you when you acquire the free trial or the paid license of Microsoft Online Services. So you need to have a tenant. Most of the Power BI consumers have a tenant. Most of the people who have started trial already have a tenant. So most of the cases, unless you are starting a greenfield implementation of Microsoft Fabric, you are not from the Microsoft world, you might be having a tenant. Capacity, and this is something which we would like to buy now. A Microsoft Fabric capacity resides on a tenant. Each capacity that sits under a specific tenant is distinct pool of resources allocated to Microsoft Fabric. The size of the capacity determines the amount of computation power available. Before you purchase Microsoft Fabric, please review capacity license sections to establish which capacity is right for your case. Now workspaces, those who are from the Power BI world understand this pretty well, but let me just read out the definition. Workspaces reside within capacities and are used as a container for Microsoft Fabric items. Each Microsoft Fabric user has a personal workspace known as My Workspace. More workspaces can be created to enable collection. Now there are a few more things which has been provided here. You might be knowing from the Power BI world that you have Pro and PPU licenses. Microsoft Fabric license type is basically capacity license is what you need. Use all Microsoft Fabric feature based on the license. Create Microsoft Fabric item and connect to other Microsoft Fabric items. Save your item to the workspaces and share them with the users that has appropriate license. Capacity license is split into stock keeping units. SKU. Each SKU provide a set of Fabric resources to your organization. Your organization can have many capacity licenses as needed. As we have discussed, you can have multiple capacity. Now here also there is a little bit of comparison which has been given, and also it is mentioned, which is really important. SKU smaller than F64 requires a Pro or PPU license for Power BI individual trial to consume Power BI content. Please remember, only consumers are free after F64. Designers or report creators still will need a license. So what does that mean is you will require at least one Power BI Pro or PPU license with Microsoft Fabric. So now we have understood few definition. Time to jump onto Microsoft Fabric pricing. I have already searched Microsoft Fabric pricing and I've got the link and I already opened that. So Microsoft Fabric pricing is available on this URL. I would be providing this particular URL into the description, so you can go ahead and explore that out. As we have discussed, there are various components and one of the component was capacity. So the capacity component is the first thing which you have been given on this page. Before you go to capacity, it is also been given Azure pricing calculator, which I have already opened in the next window, which we are going to utilize. Now, if you want to go for a capacity, you need to choose a region for which you are going, currency, and display type is hour and month. On this page right now, you are only getting the hourly capacity. Reserve capacities are not being given here. So the pricing which has been calculated monthly are the multiplication of the number of hours you are going to consume in a month. I'm using right now for East US, United States dollars, and monthly what would be the cost. So you can start as low as from F2 SKU, which is capacity unit 2. Pay as you go cost would be $262.80 per month. Now this is only the capacity cost. We are not talking about the storage or the data transfer prices as applicable. The most commonly used capacity is going to be the F64 capacity, which is going to cost you $8,409.60 per month in case of US East in United States dollar. Now this is the capacity from which we are going to get Power BI viewers as free. Please remember, once you have the capacity, you don't require a separate license for lakehouse creation, warehouse creation, or using any other Microsoft Fabric item. Only the Power BI for which you require a license. Now when you further go down, you have the maximum capacity as of now which is available is F2048, means 2048 SKU, FSKU 2048, and it is going to cost you $269,107.20 per month. So this is your capacity pricing, and I'm going to show you in the calculator the monthly reserve pricing. That is not available on this page, but it is available on the pricing calculator. Now 1 lake storage, what are the benefits and where you need? 1 lake storage is nothing but your ADLS Gen 2 storage. Now the 1 lake storage pricing is 3 kind of pricing you have: 1 lake storage per month, 1 lake BCDR, and 1 lake cache per month. The cache per month is required for your KQL and data activator, which are basically the real-time analytics. You require that. 1 lake storage, and the pricing per month is 0.26 per GB, and depending on what size of your data, you can buy a half terabyte or full terabyte of space. You have 1 lake BCDR storage per month. Again, the cost per month is USD 0468 per GB, and you may like to buy 1 lakh cache, which is 0.20 per GB, and 1 lakh cache is used if you want data activator or KQL, you require a cache storage. Now there is something known as mirroring feature which is also available in Microsoft Fabric, and if you are using mirroring feature, there is an amount of space which will not be charged. And let's read out what does this say, and then we will be looking at the amount of storage which will not be charged. So mirroring provide a modern way of accessing and ingesting data continuously and seamlessly from database to data warehouses by replicating a snapshot of the database to the 1 lake and continuously keeping a replica in sync in near real time. Enjoy free monitoring storage of the replicas to certain limit based on the purchased compute capacity SKU you provision. For example, if you purchase F64, you would get 64 free terabyte worth of storage. 1 lake storage would be built only when the free mirroring storage limit is exceeded or the provisioned compute capacity is paused. If the capacity is paused, then also you will be charged. So these are the 3 terabytes which you are going to get for each capacity for mirroring, and mirroring is available for few databases which you can check on once you try the mirroring option in Microsoft Fabric. Then there are network bandwidth prices which we can open and check it out. So network bandwidth prices, if you see, transfer in is free, transfer between the availability zones is $0.0 per GB, transfer within the same availability zone is free, transfer from Azure origin to Azure's CDN, and transfer from Azure region to Azure front door is also free. Inter-region transfers have cost. So between regions of North America, between the regions of Europe, this is between the region, means if you are in North America, transferring North America to North America. So the prices between the regions within North America and within Europe is $0.02 per GB. Between the regions of Asia, Oceania, and Middle East and Africa, it is $0.08 per GB, and between the regions of South America, it is $0.16 per GB. If you are doing intercontinental data transfer from North America to other continents and from Europe to other continent, it's $0.5 per GB. It's again dollar. From Asia to other continents, from Oceania to other continent, from Africa to other continent, $0.08 per GB, and from South America to other continents is $0.16 per GB. So these are the transfer rates, and if you are using other services, please check out their prices also on the Azure. Now we would like to see what kind of calculation or what kind of prices we are going to incur, so we need a pricing calculator. Azure has already given a pricing calculator, and I am on that pricing calculator right now. I will be giving the URL of this pricing calculator into the description. This is available on azure.microsoft.com. EN-N, this is the language and the region pricing calculator. So in this pricing calculator, you have a search option where you can search the product. In our case, we are going to search for Microsoft Fabric. You can in fact search only for Fabric, and then what you have to do is you have to click on add to estimate. I have added. Now because I might have previously opened this, it is actually had that addition already from the memory. So if you go further down, you can see the cost. Now you can choose the region from where you wanted to purchase this capacity. Assume that is East US. The capacity is F64, which I wanted to purchase. Pay as you go or reserved capacity. So in this case, I would go for 1 year reserved capacity. Pricing is monthly or upfront. You can check that out. So how much is the upfront price versus how much is the monthly price. Then storage, how much 1 lake storage I need. That is another component, and I would like to have, let's say, 5 terabyte or 5000 GB, how much that is going to cost. And then I can have few other components. Let's say this is again showing me F64, which I don't need. Because I don't need it, I've made the hours as 0. I don't need this one. I need the support. So now I have went down and I say I need a support. So what I need is standard support. So when you buy the support, you have option is developer, standard or professional direct. I will choose standard, and then it gives me the license agreement, and this shows the price of $100. So now what is our cost? If you can see, $5,000 for the reserved capacity, and if you remember the price, we have $8,000 for F64 there. So you can save when you buy the reserved capacity. Then you have the 1 lake storage price, and then you have the support price. If you need additional stuff, you can add those components. And let me go ahead and do one thing. Let me make it my as monthly payment. So what is my monthly payment? I want to know. So I've changed this to monthly from upfront. So monthly cost of 5,000 plus 130 plus my support. So monthly I'm going to incur $5,618 of cost. So this is how you can estimate the cost. This is not including the transfer pricing. That also you can calculate and get the final cost which you are going to incur. So in this manner, you can use this calculator to get what is the approx cost you are going to incur. Definitely the transfer charges, the data transfer charges are going to be based on the actual transfer, which you will only be able to know when you start using it. If you're already using the trial capacities, you might be aware of how your capacity is behaving, how much utilization you have. Based on that utilization, you can decide whether you want to go for F64 capacity, whether you want to go for F32 capacity, or whether you want to get for F128 capacity. So there is an app, Fabric app, which you can use, Microsoft Fabric capacity app, which you can use and find out your uses, and based on that uses you can decide what kind of capacity you want to buy. So in this manner you can use this calculator to get your capacity pricing. So once you have purchased the capacity and you want to utilize it, how do you want to use the capacity on a particular workspace, and if you are using trial, how you're going to shift from trial to this paid capacity, that I'm going to explain you into another video. In that video we will see how can we use a F64 capacity, and we will also check out are we really using the F64 capacity or we are using the trial capacity. But if you have more questions on Microsoft Fabric license and how can you purchase that, you can reach out to me on my LinkedIn, or you can put a comment on this video. I will try to provide you answers as quickly as possible. Go ahead and check out these licensing details, and do let me know what else you want me to cover in this particular series. Thanks for watching this particular video. Thank you.